look in and you see another you.
Oh, no.
Looking back. And that, boy, it takes a few weeks to walk that one off.
Yeah, and then your wife doesn't know which one of you is the real you. She's pointing a gun.
Yeah, and you wake up and half of your face is shaved. What is happening? Answer me! And that's your trailer.
There's nothing I love more than a man on his knees shaking his fist at God.
Is this thing on?
That's on. Is yours on?
Check, check.
Oh, wait, no, mine. There we go.
Check, check, check.
I really wanted to...
check, check.
I really wanted to do like a 20-minute podcast.
Interesting.
Because I feel like... I don't know. I did a 20-minute podcast one time with some buddies, unrelated, and my mom tuned in. She's like, well, I see all these podcasts. They're an hour and a half long, 20 minutes. I can do that in a car ride.
Yeah.
But you don't even get to know someone in 20 minutes.
Truly. My parents always ask about my podcast, and I'm like,
this is good for them.
It's not for you. It's not for you guys. You never really got. They're very supportive, but they never really got.
Do you have sweet Christian parents?
Any of the shit I was doing. No, not really. We're like distantly Christian.
Okay.
In a weird like northeast of England kind of way, where it's like, yes, we're Episcopalian.
Oh, gotcha.
But with a little black magic left
Just a fun little
from the medieval times.
There's still wizards. There's still cool
There's
stuff
some
in there.
wizardy shit going on. I'm gonna crack one of these pops.
Please do.
Because I'm so thirsty.
I'm very excited.
Do you call it soda or pop?
Soda, I guess.
I call it soda.
I guess it's
I don't know why I said pop.
I feel peer pressured by whoever.
Yeah.
Whatever you say is what I'll do.
Now I drink a lot of LaCroix.
Do ya?
Yes.
I like the can.
I drink a lot of LaCroix, and every once in a while, LaCroix kind of tries out fun new summer flavors, and they're like one time it was like cherry blossom.
Okay.
Like Sakura cherry blossom.
Ooh.
That's more of a phone background than a flavor. That's more of a feeling. You know?
Where it's like, high tide is like that's not really a flavor as much as it's a sensation.
Peach pumpkin.
Yeah,
Peach
LaCroix,
pumpkin.
warm sun on the back of your neck is not really a flavor.
But this is what I understand to be one of the hot new summer flavors, and it's Mojito.
Mojito.
I've never tried it. Ooh.
Never tried it. That's going to be a good
crisp.
crack. I'm not even going to need the stock crack I use anymore. I can use that one. That's clean audio.
Recan it. Yeah.
That's not bad. I am trying to drink less soda.
I liked it instantly.
And now that it's sitting with me.
The back end was a little bit chewing gum.
I was going to say it's after you've had gum for a while and it's lost all the flavor and now it's just gum base.
Exactly.
You've lost all the juicy fruit.
What you're tasting is mostly mouth.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yes, it's old mouth is what this flavor is.
It's there's a hint of lime up top. And then the back end is all like 2 hour old.
Yeah, the
mouth.
top notes are lemony, spritzy.
How do you feel about a mojito in general?
I don't know if I've ever had a mojito.
It's good.
Yeah?
I don't drink anymore, but when I did.
Too many mojitos.
It was so many mojitos. I was exceedingly tropical about the whole alcoholism thing.
Were you
Big floppy hat?
Were you like sad? I'm crushing beers to get drunk, or were you fun umbrella? I'm just here to have a nice time.
You know, I wore many hats.
Okay, you went through some seasons.
My journey with alcohol. I would say it started as the fun one and ended as the sad crushing beers.
That seems to be the theme with a lot of the like old school Denver comedians that I know. It's like, oh, we were all raging alcoholics and 15 years later we're all trying to come out of it now.
Truly.
If you did The Squire or Lion's Lair, you're an alcoholic.
You had to get drunk to survive. In The Squire, there were certain times at The Squire where your body needed to go limp. Do you know what I mean? It was like being in a car crash.
You were just watching yourself from inside yourself.
And if you were drunk, it was easier to, not come out of it with lasting injuries. But yeah, it was a pretty hard drinking scene at the time, and I don't think anybody realized that it was a problem until they were out of the scene.
Sure.
To other scenes, and they're like, "You guys aren't blackout by noon every day?
That's wild.
What do you do?" comedy. That's weird.
That sucks. No,
Yeah.
you get drunk, you fist fight,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
scream on
Yeah.
stage.
And it's yeah. It's better. It's better out here.
It's nice
It's
now.
better, even with the mouth-flavored mojito.
Dude, I'm going to be
LaCroix.
thinking about this tasting like mouth the whole time. I've had some kisses that taste like this.
Yeah.
Mojito.
There's something of the breakfast cereal bowl about it too.
Yeah.
There's something kind of Fruit Loop-ish.
There's a tea-based drink called a London Fog.
I know a London Fog.
London Fog to me tastes like watered down Fruit Loop milk. If you let Fruit Loops sit in milk for a long time
Yeah.
and then maybe you put some ice cubes in there
Sure.
and let that melt, that's exactly what a London
It
Fog
would
tastes to
overall
me.
be cheaper than a beverage
Not-
from like Starbucks.
Yeah, I might as well. Just
Sure.
froth up some of that.
Yeah.
I bring my own milk. I bring cereal
Yeah.
milk to the baristas and I
Yeah.
say froth that
Yeah,
up.
2 of these are milk. I didn't say which ones.
Oh, that's
They-
my favorite
They,
game.
they never tell you. The old
That's
LaCroix
big with
surprise.
LaCroix is they're always
Yeah.
pranking you.
Yeah.
That's part of their cool brand PR.
Oh yeah, totally. It's like, you know how like Willy Wonka, there was like in every million bars there's a golden
Yeah.
ticket. 1 in every million LaCroix is just like
Old
bees
dairy.
or
Okay.
milk.
Razor
or-
blades,
yeah.
Yeah.
Marbles.
cottage
Sometimes
cheese.
you open it and you look in and you see another you.
Oh
looking
no.
back, and that, boy, it takes a few weeks to walk that one
Yeah,
off.
and
I'll
then
tell
your
you.
wife doesn't know which one of
Yeah.
you is the
And
real
then you
you.
start to
She's
doubt
pointing a
it.
gun.
Yeah, and you wake up and half of your face is shaved. What is happening? Answer me! And that's your trailer.
There's nothing I love more than a man on his knees shaking his fist at God. That's the best. That's the funniest thing.
I feel like there's a sketch in the idea of like a guy being like, "Answer me!" to the heavens, and God's just like, "What?" And he's like, "Right there."
I didn't do anything.
Why are you shouting? I wasn't even here.
I don't even know you.
I was killing millions of people with a tsunami.
I got sharks to build, okay? I don't have time
Sharks
for
to
you.
build. I'm working on the new sharks.
We got cool new sharks. They got great features.
2025 sharks are gonna fucking blow your mind.
They can feel electricity.
They can feel electricity because they need it to harness their innate mutant abilities.
Oh, we got mutant sharks now?
Lightning bolts. Yeah, the 25s are insane. Dude.
Wow. We got we got cool mutant sharks.
Yeah.
You thought hammerhead,
Yeah.
swordfish, sawfish.
That was
What
as
is the
far as we were going. Yeah, it's hammerhead, sawfish, swordfish, cannon mouth bass,
Okay. Chain.
link,
Yeah.
thresher.
Motorcycle.
Yes.
Bert Kreischer shark.
The Kreischer, the shallow water Kreischer. Yeah, hot new sharks coming in 2025 from God.
Do you have a
From the people who brought you death and life.
yeah,
New
cool
sharks.
Were you like a shark kid, dinosaur kid,
Yeah.
bug kid,
Yeah. Yeah.
all the above
I would
kid?
say all of them.
Okay.
But also, like, I didn't like. I was very much an indoor kid.
Yeah.
I was like, let's watch it on Animal Planet.
Uh-huh.
And like, I like to catch lizards and
Uh-huh.
like snakes and bugs and stuff like that.
That's where you get your
But
power.
I didn't necessarily like to go camping. You
No.
know what I mean?
Yes.
And I loathed like
Dirt.
getting like sticky. Like if I got Capri Sun on my hands or something, that's gonna be a tough day.
Only at this point, I'm 29.
Mm-hmm.
I have a home that we have to do some renovations on and such.
Sure.
Only now am I getting to a point where I realize I sometimes have to be dirty.
Yeah.
I've gone my whole life being
Here-
mostly clean.
Here's the thing: when it's something that you like worked hard to get, when it's like, oh, I've been dirt biking all day, or I've been building a dirt bike all day, or I fell off my dirt bike, whatever. That's a good kind of dirty. When it's like an accident, when you're like, oh no, my porridge exploded, and it's all over your shirt.
Sure.
That's an embarrassment. That's
Milk and honey fiasco.
They expect it from me. I'm
Yeah.
a fat guy. They're like, yes, you would.
Sure.
You would be covered in sticky chocolate
If I
porridge.
I feel like if I have ketchup on me,
Yeah.
everyone knows I have ketchup
Sure.
on me.
They should.
They should know and to point it out and make me feel small.
If one spills ketchup on themselves, they're a filthy little ketchup pig.
No.
And they deserve it. They
Rolling
deserve,
around.
I might be projecting here, but when I get ketchup on me,
That's
I'm
your
like,
new Instagram
you
handle.
fucking deserve this. You deserve it as much as you deserve the mouth-flavored mojito.
I do like.
Cretin.
Okay, I'm gonna keep drinking the mouth-flavored mojito because
I'm
I
gonna
am
crush
thirsty.
like 9 of these.
Yeah, I do. It's one thing that I like about sodas and things like that. I like a seasonal, something you
too.
can only get.
Sure.
Taco Bell is my favorite fast food because they
Baja
always
Blast.
have a gimmick. Every 3 months, it's like, what if we put French fries in a taco?
That's
and you're like,
true.
sure, let me try that out too.
Right. Then I don't have to do it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The experiments can
Yeah.
cease.
Yeah, in
My marriage can get back
in my
on track.
experience, when you put French fries in a taco, you stay alone forever. That's what happens. That's the end of that experiment.
If you weren't alone before, you're gonna
Yeah.
be soon afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I do love the Taco Bell like nacho fries.
Yes.
It's incredible.
So good.
They didn't come up with it, but they put their mark on it.
Yeah. They didn't invent dipping carb in cheese.
Right.
That's weird.
Well,
The way they act.
it's its own.
Their high and mighty
Right,
attitude. They
right.
act like they invented the damn thing.
Every 6 months, Taco Bell acts like they invented nacho
We're bringing
cheese.
back the nacho fry. Oh, good.
Oh, where did it go?
Let me bow down to
Oh.
Taco
Was
Bell.
it somewhere exotic? Was it reaching out to youth in South America? Oh.
Nacho fries had to get into rehab for a little while.
Yeah, came back, changed. It's different
Nacho
now.
fries had a DUI.
More mature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got an edge to the nacho
Yeah.
fry now. I'm
Hell
mature.
yeah.
There's cognac in the cheese
Yeah.
now.
There's just a sprinkle of cocaine. And we can't. I feel like we can't skip over Taco Bell if we're talking sodas. We're talking Baja Blast.
Baja Blast.
The boys at Mountain Dew Labs have done it again.
You-
A secret dew.
I like the red.
You like the Code Red?
I like the red.
Anti-Code Red.
Anti-code red?
Don't like it.
I feel like it's the gamer fuel.
I think that's why I don't like it. I am a gamer, and for a long time they were telling me I needed to drink the Code Red, and I was like, no, I will not.
Whoa. You stood up to Big Red.
Big Red.
Big Dew.
They sent the agents from Dew Labs. Caught me in a snare, a lime and grapefruit flavored snare. Yeah.
Do you have like a gaming fuel? What's your gaming fuel? Is it more mouth mojitos? Mouth-hitos?
So here's the thing. I almost brought this time Beach Plum,
Okay.
which is my favorite LaCroix. And it's a real fruit. I looked it up.
Okay.
I like it when I'm such a sucker for when a thing like presents something that's been around for a long time as something new.
Oh, you only recently found out blue raspberry's not real.
Exactly.
That kicked you in the nuts. Oh, no. Jordan, I'm so sorry.
The fruit.
Yeah.
Blue raspberry.
No, Jordan.
Like a blue raspberry muffin. Blue raspberry pancakes. Is my nose bleeding?
There's blood dripping out of your
It's
eyes.
blue.
There's a vein popping on your forehead, big as I've ever seen. You're fixing to burst.
Did you ever experience the like goo craze of the mid '90s?
My
where
wife
it was
loves
just
goo.
Like where it was just like the candy.
Yeah, that's what I'm not being
When it was
sexual.
just like a
I'm saying,
tube.
yeah, she buys the
I
goo
thought
still.
you meant like slime TikTok or something.
No,
which is a
no,
different
no.
World.
She buys goo to eat.
Loves the goo.
Loves
the
goo.
gel.
Yes.
We'll come back to this. Beach plums are basically just cherries, but they're from like New England.
Okay.
And so they were like, it's a new fruit. We discovered it. And
Pretty good.
I fell for it 100%. And I love beach plums. So that's my gamer juice.
Okay.
That's not right. Gamer fluid.
There
That's
you
worse.
go. Fuel?
Okay.
Is that
yeah.
what you need?
And I'm trying to drink more water. You got to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Nobody's hydrated.
No. I get headaches. I get a lot of headaches. Get a lot of migraines.
Yeah.
And I go through a series of things when I can tell, like, okay, I'm going to stretch a little bit. Got to eat. Got to get some food in my body. Maybe
Yeah.
have a cup of coffee. Get some caffeine in there. And yeah, my wife recently asked me, well, what about water? And I said, what are you talking about? She's like, you don't drink water? I'm like, I'm drinking coffee.
What about water?
Coffee is what? 95%?
Like from out the toilet?
like
to quote
a pour?
Idiocracy? Yeah.
No way.
Water? How would I even get water?
Hardly know her.
Yeah.
I did a show last night at a vegan restaurant.
Okay.
And I hit him with a ashwagandha, hardly know her. And someone just said, that's not how it's pronounced. I'm like, all right, very cool. That was very vegan responsive.
I'll leave.
Right? Sick as hell. I'll get out of here.
Good evening.
You
Thank
guys
you
have been
for
great.
your enthusiasm. Fucking hilarious.
You wanted to talk goo?
God, yeah. Let's get back to the goo, or else I'll
Most
start getting
importantly.
mad at people who go to comedy shows to be correct about something.
ruin stuff?
Shut up. Anyway, yeah, goo. What a weird turn that was, where they were like lollipops, blow pops, Tootsie Pops. We're running out of ways to pop the kids.
Yeah.
And they were like, just give them the goo.
You know what?
Just give them the batter.
It's one of those, there's like chocolate bars that they like, oh, it's whipped. It's whipped chocolate.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
aerated.
A whisper.
But that's just less chocolate.
It's true.
You're just buying less of the
I
product.
do like the texture, though.
That's how they get you.
I think I'm a rube.
You think you're a mark?
I think I'm a mark.
Probably.
They're getting me with the beach plum. They're getting me with the whipped chocolate.
Every which blue raspberry,
I'm
which way.
drinking mouth-flavored soda. Blue raspberries.
But I think that's where goo was they were like, what is candy if not hardened goo?
Sure. Yeah. It's
You cook the goo, it becomes hard.
Yeah.
And they said, what if we just save ourselves a step?
Do you cook the goo?
That's how you get candy, right? Candy is
No,
cooked goo.
I don't think so. I think
I'm pretty
I
sure.
think it's the opposite. I think you let it like harden.
Yeah, from cooking. When you make candy, you cook sugar.
This is gonna end up with us making like bathtub goo and going
No,
blind.
I have a point to prove. Come over to my house. You cook sugar to different stages of goodom.
Okay.
There's soft crack. There's
Okay.
hard crack.
Okay.
And then you lay it out
Okay.
after you cook it to a certain temperature, and as it cools, it gets hard.
Okay, I understand.
So and they said, let's just not
Lines.
cook it and let's just
Let's just
Keep
give
it
to 'em,
gooful.
funnel it into them.
Yeah.
And teach them karate. That was the other thing around that same time.
Did you know any karate?
I can't remember any of it, but I definitely there was like we were all taught karate as youth. They were training some sort of martial arts.
My dad was a taekwondo instructor
Yeah.
when he lived in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Second degree black belt taekwondo. And
Cool.
he moved to Colorado to open up a taekwondo studio and teach more kids taekwondo.
Yeah.
And then he sells blinds.
Sure.
Taekwondo never really took off.
Oh, okay.
Taekwondo is really like ska or pop punk, where it's
Sure.
like you had 10 years to get in on that.
Yeah.
If you
Now
didn't
it's
really
gone.
hit it while it was
Yeah,
hot,
yeah.
too late. And
I
I
thought the blinds were gonna have like a taekwondo edge.
no,
to it.
just
Come on
blinds.
down to Blinds Kwando. You know.
He had a logo. He got a cease and desist by DC Comics
Oh.
because it was just Superman, but instead of a cape, it was like
Yeah.
shades.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
feel like I remember seeing that. Incredible.
Yeah, he got in trouble for that.
Damn.
The Blind Man of America. Anyone in town, if you need blind shade shutters.
Oh, his name was the Blind Man.
Blind Man of. He's been rear-ended. So the back of his van
Uh-huh.
says a blind man is driving this car,
Funny.
and then he's like, starting in 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
I started getting rear-ended all the time. Because now people have cameras in their phones,
Oh.
and they're trying to take a picture of it because they think it's so
Whoa.
funny, and they come to a rolling stop, and they just keep creeping forward,
Hilarious.
and they just hit him.
Dummies.
Get rear-ended all the time.
Now who's blind?
And it's happened to me at work where someone's like, here's a funny little meme, everybody, and they'll
Yeah.
post it. I'm like, that's my dad's
Yeah.
van. I saw that on Imager. That's my father.
Yeah. Crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Stop hitting the blind man. If
You would
anything,
think-
you would be more careful around him.
No. That's funny. It's people, as you know,
Yeah.
as I'm sure you're well aware, it's fun to pull pranks on the blind.
On the blind. I'm
You do this kind of
constantly-
stuff.
oh,
You're
yeah.
checking if they're blind. No one believes blind
totally.
people.
If I see someone with a cane, I'll throw him an orange. I'll be like, watch, he'll catch this.
Yeah.
They don't, but
When-
that's all part of the ruse.
But this day when he does, and they have blind stolen
Oh,
valor,
shit.
and you're a hero,
Yes. And then he's like, I know Kwando, and just beats the shit out of
he
me.
fights you.
Yeah.
I always am hoping you throw an orange at the blind man, he catches it, and he goes, "That was the test."
Oh, and now you're awakened to a world of magic. Now you're blind. You're now a daredevil.
Now you have to pass it on to the next person.
Yeah, and he's free.
Yeah. My buddy, bullied me all the time when we would hang out because I got a job one time, interview for a job. As I'm walking into the front of the office, I held the door open for a man as he was leaving. And talking to the front desk lady, trying to schedule, get this appointment figured out and where this gal is, and I was being very polite. Turns out front desk lady was secretly the interviewing manager the whole time.
Whoa.
And she wants to see how people, how do you treat the front desk lady? Are you going to be rude? Are you going to be snippy?
Whoa.
And she said, as soon as I saw you open the door for that man, I knew you had what it takes, kind of thing. And now I will hold the door open for 1,000 people in a row. Because I'm hoping one of them's going to go, "Hey, kid, no one's got manners anymore.
Yeah.
Here's the keys to my Lexus.
Yeah.
You work for me now," or something.
I am the god Odin.
Yes.
Disguised as someone who wanted to come into this particular corner store.
Yep.
And you got the juice now, kid.
And now he's going to give me, a belt.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
And it's a nice belt.
I feel like gods are always giving you, instead of just giving you powers, instead of giving you powers, they give you a thing that gives you powers that you then have to manage and keep track of.
Here's a feather that does blank. It's like, fuck.
Good.
Great.
I got to hold on to a feather 24/7.
In a manila folder?
You can't put it in your pocket. I can't fold it in half.
What am I supposed to do with this?
These tricky gods. They're blowing it. Get with it. You watching that show where Jeff Goldblum is Zeus or whatever?
No, I heard it's good, though.
Yeah?
Chaos.
Chaos with a K.
My uncle says it's good, and he's a real media
hound?
No, like a
connoisseur?
Yeah, who are those people who taste the wine?
Sommeliers.
Sommelier, yes. He watches a lot of Netflix.
That's what we did at the beginning with the mouth.
Right, exactly. I wanted to. Your dad taught Taekwondo.
Yes.
I did Kafdo karate, and the reason you've never heard of it is because it stood for the initials of our sensei, Carl Adrian Felber. Dojo, Kafdo. Later on, after a series of increasingly red flags.
Sure. That's the only direction this could have gone.
Yes. Carl Adrian Felber. So he started the dojo because he was kicked out of Taekwondo for being too violent. And he wanted to make a different legion of child soldiers.
Right.
And later...
Where pain is the only teacher you need.
Yes. Later, it turned out that he was giving some of the students alcohol, and he was
of course,
hitting on people's moms. And later he went to jail for doing karate on a couple of guys in a bar fight. And even later I realized that we were the bad guys. We were Cobra Kai. I
mean, the guy's literally Rex Kwon Do from Napoleon Dynamite. I'm going to name it after me.
But if he was an alcoholic Scotsman.
Whoa.
Yeah. This was in Scotland.
What's his full legal name?
Carl Adrian Felber.
Carl Adrian Felber. That's incredible. That's the best.
It was a weird thing to realize many years later. Fuck, we were essentially in the Foot Clan, man.
Carl Adrian Felber.
Kafdo with a K.
Felber Kafdo. There's got to be, a Dark Side of the Ring Vice kind of.
Truly.
Kafdo.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Incredible. I have a series of notes here because this is, technically the first time we're meeting, unless you remember me as a busboy from Comedy Works in 2017.
Of course I do.
Of course, everyone does.
I remember everyone
who's ever been a busboy for
ever.
A year at Comedy Works.
But go ahead.
So I was nervous, so I wrote a series of discussion points.
Oh,
if we were to ever blow it, but this is good riffing.
Yeah, we're riffing. We're riffing in a park. We're in a gazebo. Is this a gazebo?
I think so. What would you qualify it as? A cathedral?
No. Maybe a dais?
Okay.
No, it's a gazebo. There's a roof.
I feel like
I think of a gazebo as being octagonal.
I mean, you're probably right.
How's that for a discussion point?
That's pretty good. I feel like a dais requires a graduation.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why that is,
Okay.
but I think that's the only time I've ever heard that word.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Have you ever graduated?
Yeah, I graduated high school. I graduated college.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which one did you like more? Keep talking for 1 second.
High school was bad and dumb for me, and I didn't really care about it until when I got to college, I realized that you could kind of study whatever you wanted as opposed to just doing like packets on science and stuff. And that was much better for me. So I enjoyed college a lot more. So much so that I went there for 7 years.
Whoa, you're a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
What are you doctoring in?
English and theater.
Oh, the most important skills we need right now.
Yeah. If somebody's got a line from a Beckett play lodged in their sternum, I could take a look at it.
I started getting an English degree, and then someone, I think, the like actual academic counselor was like, "Are you gonna be an English teacher?" And I said no, and she said, "This probably isn't for you."
Isn't that strange?
It's like English and psych are the two things where it's like, unless you're going to be a psych teacher, a psych degree probably, like, realistically is not going to do
probably
anything
won't pay
for you.
the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to be a psychiatrist, probably.
Yeah. I can barely speak English.
You're doing pretty good.
Thank you.
The accent's coming
I've been
through.
guessing
but
the whole time. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I always figured that like when people were like, well, what do you want to do? It was like perform somehow. And so English, I figured it could be the type of thing where I could write stuff, and then theater, because I had to pick a minor.
Yeah.
And I was like, performance.
Man, what?
And it did kind of work. You know, I met a lot of like acting type people through.
Sure.
And writing people.
I think that's,
going to college.
At least theater is like, I mean, for stand-up is at least like stage performance, like stage presence, getting used to being in front of people,
but
being embarrassed.
Actors can be fucking insipid people.
Oh. Is that a word you made up?
No,
or am
it's
I
real.
dumb? Okay,
it's a real
that's
word.
that degree coming
But I'm
through.
not sure what it means.
It just felt right in the moment. I told my wife the other day she looks very deciduous, and she's like,
Nice.
"What's that?" I'm like, It sounded good.
It's something trees do.
Okay.
Yeah, deciduous is what a tree, like these are now I pointed at the one evergreen tree.
You blew it.
That's not. This is deciduous.
Okay.
It'll
That's
lose
a big
all of
one.
its trees in the or all of its leaves in the
Oh,
winter
is that what it
time.
means? I just it sounded like it could mean beautiful.
You look insipid today, my love. Insufferable, I think, is what I was looking for.
But yeah. I've said this many times. I love stand-up. It's a lot of fun. I want to do more improv-y things. I don't think I want to do improv.
Improv is weirdly vilified among stand-ups.
I like to do more improvised things. To me, it's like the little games.
Yeah.
Of okay, you work at a bank, now I work at a bank.
Right.
Okay, we're in space now.
Yeah.
But I do want to do more improvised things.
You want to do one right now?
Horribly no. Okay. That's to put me on the spot like that. Okay. How dare you?
You just got to say yes and. That's the whole secret.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Hey,
no.
Don't you love it at this rodeo?
What rodeo?
Damn
We're at. What are you talking about, Jordan? We're at.
And I'm on my way to see the camel, bucking camel event, you know? And then somebody tries to do like a song, like a reggae song about being at the rodeo. And
That's
it's horribly
I can't think of rhymes
embarrassing.
quick enough. That's what I'm scared of.
I think improv is so improv kind of presents this world where anyone can do comedy. It's like if you follow these simple rules, you'll be a great improviser, and so it encourages people who are terrible to join in. So a lot of improv, I think, is pretty terrible and corny. But at the same time, like people who can't improvise, comics who can't improvise, are, he's a wet blanket up there.
Yeah.
They're walking all over him. kind of thing.
Who's that guy?
This fella?
Yeah, who's that guy?
This is Lance Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Nice
I'm
to
a
meet you, Mr.
showbiz
Hollywood.
expert.
Okay.
I invented the, you know those little crackers with the peanut butter in between them?
The Ritz?
That was me,
Whoa.
Lance Toasties, they're called. They're not for eating.
This guy's got a diverse portfolio.
They're for whipping at birds.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time outside.
You really built out Lance in a really short amount of time.
Improv.
You've really given him
It's
It
improv.
was a very three-dimensional character. But it is like in my head, improv people are theater kids.
Yes, yeah.
And I feel like I took my daughter to a park a couple months ago. There was a group there doing, and I'm the sport LARPing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. Where they like pretend to be baseball players?
No, so it's like they have foam swords, foam maces, foam spears.
Okay.
But it is a
Yes.
sport. I think it's called.
It's like combat.
Yeah, but it's like there's a ball in the center, and you have to
Oh.
get the ball back to your goal or
Crazy.
something. It's called. I think it's called Jammer,
Okay.
but it's like sport LARPing.
You hit people with a sword.
Yeah, and if you hit them once, they're out. And I took my daughter to the park with another friend and his kid, and they were jamming. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah.
And they said, "Do you want to? Hey, this is open. We got small jams for kids. If your kids want to come jam."
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, my daughter can go play with a sword and shield. And the coach of the team pointed at me from 100 yards away. Was like, "Do you want to play?" And I was like,
"You've got the physique of a jammer."
I was like, "I'm good. I'm watching my kid."
Answer the call?
I know. If only that my friends could die around me, pretend, and I could get on my knees and shout at God.
Sure, yeah.
But
What?
I'm like, I gotta watch my daughter.
Yeah.
I'm good right now. And he like pointing at me was marching towards me. He's like, "You gotta get in here." And I out loud was like, "Hey man, the energy you bring in here right now is wild.
Yeah.
It's making me deeply uncomfortable."
Yes.
But we were hanging out. I was playing with my daughter, and the jammers, they're taking a juice break or whatever, and they're talking.
Yeah.
And
Gotta get that jam juice.
it seems like something I would love to do.
Yeah.
It seems
the way
like
you're
a ton of
describing
fun.
it right now, I'm like, yeah, that sounds dumb, and secretly
no, it
I'm like,
looks incredible.
I'm gonna Google this immediately.
It seems so much fun listening to the people who do it talking.
Oh yeah.
I would pull my eyes out in minutes within
It's tough.
Conversation with these people, and that's how I feel about
improv vibe.
Improv. I feel like I would love it. I feel like people who do improv would make me Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure.
Love D&D.
Sure.
I've never went to like I'm gonna go to a dice store and
Right.
play a game of D&D with strangers.
I've done it.
Because I don't think I'll like
It
those
sucks.
guys. I don't think I'll like those guys.
The DM was a real like
Sex pervert.
just archetypical like DM, like
Sure.
I know all the rules. Excuse me, wait your turn. Kind of like real shitty stickler. It sucked. But yes, I think improv can be good. It's like anything, you know. If you were to do it with your friends who you think are funny and good at it, yeah. I've seen some improv shows that have had me crying laughing.
The worst.
But
I don't
I've also
know.
seen some.
I don't know if this is true. I feel like the worst improv is worse than the worst stand-up, but also I think the best improv is better than the best stand-up.
Interesting.
Improv, when it's at its absolute best, is so impressive that you're able to do all of this off the top of your head.
And people are like, "You wrote that, right?"
Yeah,
It's like,
that
no.
kind of thing. It's so impressive.
Yeah.
Whereas like with stand-up, it's like, no, I've had, I've had 15 years to write this for an hour,
Yeah.
whereas that guy is doing a brand new thing every
Right.
time.
Yeah.
But also, bad stand-up is just like, well, that guy sucked, and then we move on with our lives.
Yeah.
Bad, like, long-form improv.
Yeah.
You're up there for 25 minutes, and we're like, whoa, and now we're in outer space. Now you're just pretending.
And I'll do a reggae song about space.
It always comes back.
Don't do it.
It's always some white guy trying to find how do I get into black voice with everyone being cool.
Hey, what if I did a blues song about being in space? Don't.
This is your one thing.
Oh, look, it's the moon. I'm gonna die. I will die from this. This is how it will happen.
That is,
Yeah.
That is funny. It's uncomfortable imagining that right now.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know
imagining
exactly who that guy
I'm
is.
imagining the whole thing.
They're doing any kind of.
There was a person who used to come to open mics back in the day, who would quite often do like an improv reggae song. Very nice person, but holy moly,
sweetheart.
If you're wondering why we drank, I distinctly remember watching it and just being like, I have to get drunk now because of this.
My back hurts if I go to open mics too much.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing this the whole time.
Oh,
So I have to take breaks because my spine hurts too much.
Yeah.
When I did work at Comedy Works, they're like, you can't work the Tuesday night. You can't work the open mic anymore. Because I would just uncomfortable laugh.
Yeah.
But like shrieking with uncomfortable laughter. And like you're like
when people were blowing it, you'd be like,
I'm the one person.
Incredible.
I remember, I don't know what he's doing anymore, but when I worked there was Anthony Armstrong. He was
ringing a very distant bell.
Black comic, but he would just sit in the back row and do the meanest laughs I've ever heard.
Funny.
Just bullying people. But yeah, I can't be uncomfortable and hide it very well.
Yeah.
And so I would love to go do an improv with, all these 40-year-old divorcees who are trying to get their groove back or whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't hide that I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It'd be very obvious to them. And now I'm ruining it for them, too.
And that's kind of the tough part of it is like, I think the instinct is to throw someone under the bus when they do something that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you want to like roll your eyes at it and be like, I'm not with him. But you have to keep up that facade of like, this is great and it's working. Because if you see, that's the whole bit, isn't it?
Yes.
If you seem like you think it's funny, the audience will be like, he seems like he thinks it's funny, and he seems to know what he's doing.
He seems like he's having a good time.
Okay.
I believe him.
I'll laugh because that's the sound we've all agreed to make.
Right.
Yeah.
That physiological noise.
Yeah.
It is weird. There's something to like laughter is a response to something physiologically the same way flinching is when someone tries to punch you.
Truly.
And I ranted about this recently, but it's like I feel like there's sometimes where I'm like, just because that made me laugh doesn't mean it's funny.
Right.
The same way that you tickling me makes me laugh, it doesn't make you funny.
Yeah.
And it's my way to tear down people, which is
Tickling.
nice. Even if you made me laugh, it's not actually funny.
Tickling is really kind of the...
Tickling doesn't make you
kind
funny.
of the martial arts of comedy.
That's the problem.
The three schools of comedy: stand-up, improv, tickling.
Everyone's trying to figure out their new gimmick. Like, what's the new... I'm going to start tickling people.
I tickle.
Mostly tickling.
Mostly tickles and sounds.
Sketches and tickles. Sketches and tickles.
A lot of the times I will tell people that I do, when they're like, what kind of comedy do you do? Faces and pranks.
Just a lot of like...
Scaring people.
Flirty faces.
Yeah.
Little stinker.
Little stinker.
Little stinker.
Little stinker has
That's your closer.
rolling in the aisles.
That's your big...
There's a little taste.
Little Stinker and Lance Hollywood.
Yep.
These are your two go-tos.
That's my comedy duo, where I play every part, and it's exhausting. It's hard to watch.
You're like running and you're doing quick changes.
It's a live action clumps situation.
Oh no, you're doing blackface.
I usually there's a third character, the mayor.
Okay. Well, at least he's in a position of power, so it's actually good that you're doing it.
It's more of a nickname, really.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's a homeless man that you call the mayor as like a fun little rub.
No. He's kind of a street warrior.
Who does calf kwando? Calf-do.
Trained in the arts of calf-do. I'm making about 10 minutes into each performance, and then I'm just completely unconscious.
You gotta hit him with Narcan halfway through.
Yeah.
Someone's gotta get wake me.
Get back up here. All right, I'll keep going, but I'm losing one character.
You're giving... I don't know how we're going to fill it in, but he's done.
It's all mayor now.
You guys are only responding to Mayor anyways. I don't know why I'm bothering with the other characters.
Oh boy.
What was the last time you really ate it?
Biffed it?
Yeah.
Comedy-wise?
Yes, and or socially.
Man, I'm biffing it every day.
Yeah, you're having a big biff sesh.
I went into Jimmy John's
Okay.
yesterday, and I ordered a sandwich Mike's way.
Okay.
I can never go back. It's humiliating.
You can never look those.
That's Jersey Mike's.
Yeah.
They looked at, they were so betrayed. You're in a Jimmy John's. Humiliating. Totally biffed it. In terms of comedy, all the time. New York is a verdant valley of biffing it. There's every third step is a new, ripe, and exotic opportunity to eat shit in front of people who don't care that you're there.
That's so fun. That's nice.
Never stop biffing it, but stop caring about it.
Yeah.
That's what I feel is the key.
Every once in a while get to a point where I'm like, I'm actually good at bombing. Like I've done it so many times. I know how to bomb.
Yeah.
And then just you'll have a new. I had a show recently where there was just a table of 3 black ladies. Nobody's laughing, but the table of 3 black ladies, and one of them just went, "What are you talking about?" I don't know how to get out of that. It's like, what is this? Like, I don't know what to do about that. Like, no, you're right. You're correct.
If you'll listen, I'm explaining it. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Were you just like throwing out word salad?
I don't.
Orange,
I feel like I was
cutlet,
making
knives.
doing a real Casey Rocket, just saying spoons over and over again. No, I mean, real quick, we recently have In-N-Out here in Colorado Springs. For a long time, we had Drifters.
Don't know that one.
Drifters was a guy.
Sounds scary.
It was great. It is scary.
Okay.
Drifters was a guy who worked at In-N-Out, left California, and was like, "I'll just do that
Took
here.
the secret recipe.
I'll just do the
Krabby
exact
Patty
same thing
recipe,
here." Yeah. But at Drifters, you get it animal style.
Animals.
Are
Animal?
you correcting me?
No. I'm trying to ask because that's also what it's called at In-N-Out.
Oh, so In-N-Out, it's animal style, so they called it wild style. I was trying to remember which way it
okay.
is. So, yeah, you get a burger wild style.
Wild style.
And the last, when I finally first went to In-N-Out, I'm like, I'll get that wild style. I know they know what I mean.
Yeah.
But they look at me like, not even disappointed, but like, what?
Yeah.
What is wild style?
What could that possibly mean?
You only have one
You
style.
know what it is. Yeah. Use the context clues.
Put it all together.
However, I will say this. There's a real secret menu culture at In-N-Out.
Is there?
So they may have thought you were bringing some new secret code
the new
word
hot sauce.
that was like, it's animal style, but with a loogie in it.
Oh,
you know?
sure.
So maybe they got confused by their own.
It has to be made by a Dominican.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah,
And
exactly.
like, all right, I guess that's wild style.
Okay, Anthony.
I don't know who to call. No, but we were at a restaurant recently. My wife, my brother, my wife, my brother, my daughter, and I. They're like, how many? I said 3 and a kid.
Yeah.
And she went, okay, so 4? I'm like, I mean, yeah.
But some places.
I'm saying that because you're gonna grab 3 regular menus and 1 kid's menu.
Yeah.
I don't think you're actually asking.
Yeah.
You're trying yeah. Yes, 4.
Get this.
Sorry. Yes, do the math.
So I went to the Emmys recently.
Okay.
It was incredible.
Right.
It felt like I shouldn't be allowed there. Like
No,
it was
of course
It was that fancy. I was the +1. I saw Dick Van Dyke there from like.
Oh, I think
this
I
far
saw.
away.
Did you post that
It's
on
incredible.
Instagram?
Yes.
Was he 98 or
98.
something?
He's going to turn 99. His wife is 56. Anyway.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, but good for them. They seem to like it.
She's going to get a lot of money.
Life is a series of whatever compromises.
Yeah.
And he's like a widower 4 times over or something.
Yeah, he keeps outliving
Anyway.
these broads. They keep dying on the same way down the same staircase.
Yeah. They
really
keep,
suspicious.
Yeah, they keep finding their bodies on the rooftops of London. They've been chim-chim-charied. So we're at the Emmys. I'm doing pretty good, actually. I was like personable.
Yeah.
I'm meeting my girlfriend's work friends. We're hitting it off. I'm like, I'm doing pretty well tonight. We go to the after party. We sit at this long table with, I would say, Beetlejuice-esque high-backed chairs.
Okay.
We sit down. I'm like, I'm going to go get us something to eat.
Like in Taskmaster.
Yes.
Those big,
yes,
tall.
Yes.
Okay.
But less well-made.
Sure.
And music hasn't started yet. People are just filing in. We've all just walked into this enormous hall that is fancier than any party I've ever been to. And I stand up from one of these chairs and knock it right over. Wham! Hits the back with this huge, heavy back. And I look at my girlfriend and she goes, "What are you doing, man?" And I was like, biffed it. Ate shit. Things were going great. Biffed it. Picked it back up. I was like, I'm going to go get us something to eat. That sucked. Hi, everybody. It was me. Later, we're sitting there. Everybody's got their food now. The band has started. It's great. Somebody gets up to go leave. Wham! Another person gets up to go leave. Wham! The chairs. They're bad chairs.
They're back heavy.
They're hilarious
prank
chairs that fall over, and every time, no, they were just top heavy, as you say. And every time it happened, I felt a little bit better. I was like,
thought
okay.
You were going to say first one fell over and slammed. I stood up and pointed. Biffed it!
Biffed it! Oh, they're biffing it!
It's not just me! It's not just me!
Don't stop the band!
Keanu did it!
Keanu biffed it!
Stop the
Dick Van
band!
Dyke biffed it! And he's not moving! We should probably
actually cut the band. Cut the band.
Oh, his wife is tenting her fingers. She might have had something to do with it.
Maliciously. Diana's over there licking her lips.
Yeah, Diana Van Dyke. DD.
DDD. DDV. DDV.
DVD would be her initials.
Whoa. If it's not DVD, if he's not naming his daughter.
This is good riffing.
This is fun. This is nice. I don't know why you were talking. I wrote, this was very important to me that I had to write down. Do you think there's any, like a king ever had to have a throne
that
was a little wobbly and they had to put a napkin under it?
Yeah, absolutely. Although I'll bet that every time like a king's throne was wobbly, like someone lost their head, you know?
A craftsman.
And then they would be like, "Bring me another throne maker. He shall try." And then he'd make another throne. And, hopefully get to keep his head.
Yeah.
Because thrones shouldn't wobble. It's the king of England. Or this let's call it fictionalvania.
Okay.
Chosen by God. God. Sharks, life, death.
You may know him as
God of
These are his
Earth,
credits.
Koalas. Chicken nuggets. Yeah, we went to France earlier this summer.
Yeah?
And we saw Versailles, like the Palace of Versailles. And first of all, like, it's like fucking Tolkien, Game of Thrones level fantasy opulence. You see it and you're like, oh my God, this is, they needed to have a revolution because this is how gods live. And Versailles is so big, they have like a city square inside of it. It's a room in the building where people would come and hang out in basically something the size of like a city square, and they would just kick it in this room and wait for the king to come through and shit like that. And it really impressed on me like how much power these like 6 people had.
Yeah.
And how fucked up it was that it was like not 2 miles away, people are like starving from like trying to eat sparrow eggs and like riddled with parasites and shit. And
they're
you're like, I need
soup.
a golden pillow for my breakfast or it doesn't taste the same. It's like, drag them out and cut their heads off.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I thought about it and I was like, it really is the fact that Versailles is now like a public not public, but like a place where hundreds of thousands of strangers get
Surfs.
to walk through.
Yeah.
Surfs. It's so perfect.
Just get a
it's like
desecrate.
Truly, we're gonna take it and we're gonna let anybody.
We're gonna sell
in.
T-shirts in here.
Yeah, they're gonna touch all your things.
There's public restrooms in here now, idiot.
They'll see all of your little action figures, and they did.
They had little
lots
figurines.
of little statues, and I remember thinking to myself, like, "Oh, this is your little guys. These are your little He-Mans."
It's funny to think about a king being like, I'm falling in love. Yeah.
Sorry, nothing. Off with your head. Sorry,
It is.
my throne is wobbly.
When I
Fetch me
hear
another.
about people doing the like, pyramids have to be created by aliens because they're just so massive.
Yeah.
How did they get those stones up
Yeah.
there? They're heavy. Whatever. They had nothing but time.
Yeah.
It's not like they had other stuff
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Like, I got work in the morning
Yeah.
and I'm doing pyramids in my off time
yeah,
as like
yeah.
a hobby thing.
Yeah.
For like probably, I don't know, 300 years. So
Yeah.
like, how do we are doing nothing but making
Yeah.
this thing happen.
How did they build the pyramids? Oh, with millions of slaves.
Yeah, they
with
had
the blood
slaves
of
and
so many
a
people.
lot of time on their hands. They have
Truly.
literally nothing better to do.
You ever watch the Pyramid Code?
No.
You should watch the Pyramid Code.
You watch The Prince of Egypt.
Yes, of course. The Pyramid Code posits that. So have you ever heard that thing that like we are closer to Cleopatra now than she was to the building of the pyramids?
Right.
Like even in Cleopatra's time, pyramids were ancient monuments, and there's an idea that the pyramids were there when the culture that we know of as Egypt got there, and they just repurposed it and like brought like their religion, and kind of like they were like, what is this place? This place is clearly important.
Yeah.
Let's stay here. And like you can like people say that there was like you get into conspiracy zone and you have to be careful because it turns weird real fast. But people talk about like a first cataclysm that wiped people out, and then the culture that became ancient Egypt showed up and found these pyramids and built on top of that. And the idea is that these pyramids are actually power generators, and they connect to obelisks that delivered wireless electricity to the ancients to use their Wi-Fi or something. Watch the Pyramid Code.
Okay. I like conspiracies.
Mm-hmm.
I am conspiracy minded. Where it's like, yeah, I think Google's affecting the elections. Why
Sure.
wouldn't they? And then it's so easy to go one dial too far where it's like, all right, now it's Jew stuff or whatever. Or like, now it's lizard people,
By
it's
the
the
way,
aliens
the
connecting.
Jews in the pyramids. No, I'm kidding. That's basically how they built them.
Yeah, for
was
sure.
the lives of millions of Jews. Once again.
But it's so easy to go from like, this seems like a reasonable conspiracy.
Yeah.
And if we just take it one more too soon, but then that's also the like, the liberal Hollywood elites are sucking these boys for their adrenochrome, and you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh no, there was, billionaire pedophile island. And you're like,
Sure.
that sounded crazy.
Yeah.
And now that's where I am, where I'm like, that sounded crazy before, but now who's to say?
I live in the conspiracy zone. I thrive in the conspiracy zone.
You're on all the subreddits.
There's shit like adrenochrome and like moon landing stuff where you're just like, yeah, okay, I could see a world in which we needed to win the space race.
Right.
Absolutely.
I don't think the moon landing was faked, but I'm like, if someone does believe it, I don't think they're the craziest person I've ever talked to in my life.
Did you ever see that guy who got punched in the face by Buzz Aldrin?
Yes.
Rocks. That's pretty much how.
assault, brother.
That's
You
pretty
can't
much
be
how
doing that,
That's pretty
Buzz.
much how I feel about it. It's like that was cool. Yeah, you should do that. But there's definitely a bridge too far where it's like, okay, relax. Like I love talking about the lizard people, etc. But maybe stop stockpiling guns for the lizard people thing. Like let's just have fun with it.
You say that.
love cryptids, love ghosts, love aliens.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's
a deep end that is upsetting.
How long did you live in Colorado for?
I moved to Colorado when it was my 10th birthday. So
Okay.
I was 9. I turned 10 in Colorado.
All right, so you were here for a long time.
Mhm.
How long have you lived in New York for?
Oh, 2 years?
Okay. Are there any?
Yeah.
So you've had some time there.
Yes.
Are there any cool like Colorado has cryptids where it's like
Sure.
jackalope and all kinds of stuff. But like we live in a relatively, kind of wooded, still
Sure.
even place.
Yeah.
Does New York have like? I feel like New York cryptids are like the jazz man's gonna get you or something.
Whoa, that would rock.
I
It's
don't.
like Mac Tonight.
Do they have any cool like?
Stuff in the sewers, the alligators in the sewers.
Oh, they got sewers. Sewers
the
is a good
rat-
place for
rat
that.
kings. That's a big wad of rats. It's not what it sounds like, which would be a giant rat.
Yeah.
But yeah, people see weird things in New York, in upstate New York. The city, I don't know. I've definitely searched for some things, but nothing's really jumping out at me. You see stories that are like, somebody saw a winged humanoid. You're like, what the fuck does that mean? But nothing that you'd be like, it's old Wingzo, he's back.
Okay.
Are
You going down to like what is it? The buried New York City?
No,
and
but
like traveling in the
but
catacombs.
That's the dream, right? That would be incredible. I did that in Paris. We went into the catacombs, the bone catacombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Bone catacombs seems cool for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
How long are you in the bone catacomb? Because if you're down there for 2 hours, I feel like, yeah, I get it, bones.
I would say we were down there for a good 45 minutes.
Okay, that seems like an acceptable-ish amount of time.
And by the end of it, we were kind of like, okay, bones.
Bones.
But it was really interesting. It was a weird, kind of solemn experience. It was strange. Because you go down thinking it'll be all shits and giggles, and then you get in and you're like, oh, that was like a guy.
Yeah. I was going to ask, how much riffing are you doing in the catacombs?
Plenty of riffing, but it was definitely like, there's a vibe,
Yeah.
There's a vibe that it's like, these are the remains of people.
I remember in graduating 8th grade. I don't know if this is a thing when you were a child, whenever that was. But when I was in 8th grade, every 8th grader around the country, it's like you graduate 8th grade and you get to go on a trip to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Every school did this for whatever reason.
Sure.
We went, and me and 3 of my buddies went from my school. There's other kids, but like 3 and 2 of the 3 of us, me and 2 of my buddies from our school went. And then we, from a different school in like Arizona,
Yeah.
we met 3 gals
Okay.
who were like kind of cute.
Sure.
So we were all hanging out.
One thing led to another.
Yeah, I got paired off with the ugly one. And we were even though we're in 8th grade, graduating, like going into high school, they gave us like coloring books and crayons to like fill in.
Far out.
We were in Arlington Cemetery, like now with crayons.
Sure.
It's hot. And we're kind of like marking each other with the little crayons, like, hey, oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha with a little blue.
Yeah.
And then we were like running around, marking each other with little crayons, having a hell of a time in Arlington
Sure.
Cemetery. And looking back at it now, I'm like, how many like fathers of murdered soldiers are just like, I'm gonna fucking kill these kids? How
The
many
guy,
people?
like, saluting a tomb nearby?
How many fathers were held back?
No, you didn't, you booger butt.
Were held back at the scruff from their wife, pulling them back from coming and
punching a
throttling
kid.
me to death, which they should have.
You think the moon landing didn't happen?
Yeah. Really really irreverent for
Yeah.
anyone other than myself.
Yeah.
And that's a fun What notes do we have in here? What do we got to talk about? What else do we got?
All right.
Let's see.
Going to the talking points.
I know you live in New York.
That's
the bio
true.
on your website still says Los Angeles. Update
shit.
that. What else?
I have a website.
Best Western commercial?
Best Western commercial.
Yeah. You were in like a Hyatt suite or a Best Western commercial.
Oh yeah.
What's that all about?
Was it a Holiday Inn Express?
I think it was a Holiday Inn Express.
That was a commercial. So this weird thing happened where they booked us on the what was it called?
Keep talking 1
It
second.
was like the something oddities and curiosities tour. And there was a bunch of comics, like headlining style comics. I think Aziz Ansari and Louis C.K. were there. It was the canceled comics tour. And they had like a small stage off to the side where a few of us from Comedy Works went and did sets, and the whole thing was sponsored by Holiday Inn Express, and they wanted us to do commercials, and they paid us to go and shoot commercials in the nearby Holiday Inn Express.
No way.
And I remember I kind of gouged them. They were like, "We'll give you this much to do this," and I was like, "I'll need twice that," and they were like, "Okay." I was like, "Whoa, that worked."
That's crazy.
It was kind of because I didn't really want to do it.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah.
You don't want to. Now that's your big credit on your bio.
Is it?
Everyone knows Jordan Dahl from New Faces winner 2013.
Yes.
Holiday Inn commercial guy.
That's the one. T.G.I. Fridays. I was a potato skin for them for many years.
Uh-huh.
For
many years?
Yes, for about 3
Whoa.
years. They kept bringing me back.
You were the Esurance baby?
I was the Esurance baby.
For potato skins?
It was very funny because it was me and like a skinny guy, and we got booked for the part, and we both showed up to the costume fitting, and there was like a mozzarella stick and a potato, and he was like, "Who's gonna be the potato?" It's like, we all know who's gonna be the potato here. But it ended
Did
up
you try
turning
pitching
into
anything else?
A fairly
You're like artichoke dip. Come on, give me something.
How about just a cool guy, a creative cool guy?
How about we got mozzarella stick and Dave?
How about mozzarella stick and a guy who's working on close-up magic?
Can the potato at least have a leather jacket? For the love of God, can the potato have a knife?
It
Something.
ended up the potato had a knife. They didn't sanction it, but
Yeah, we all knew.
you know I always got that thing on me. By that thing, I mean one of those rainbow-colored butterfly knives.
Oh, that actually
From
has a comb in it, so you can slick your hair
Yes,
back.
exactly. But yeah, that actually turned into like a somewhat lucrative, ongoing gig for me.
That paid the bills for a
They
while?
haven't called me in a while, but
Do you still have a phone number that's like Gareth? Gareth TGI
Gareth,
Fridays?
TGI Fridays. Of course I do. There's someone in there for sure. Some contact for there. Somebody actually called me from one of those projects and was like, "Hey, I think I have something that you'd be good for. What's your buyout?" Which is like where you're like SAG, but they just want to pay you a little bit to be in something.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that at the time, so I was like, "I don't really know. You could talk to my agent." And they wrote me back and they were like, "Really, dude?" And I was like, "What happened?" But it turns out, once again, I biffed it.
Oh, no.
Biffed it. There is an all-black squirrel right there.
Okay, the all-black squirrel has been eyeballing me since I got here to set up.
It's incredible.
I was like putting my stuff down there. It was where we are sitting now, and it just stared at me.
I feel like we're seeing a cryptid right now.
Black squirrel.
The black squirrel. What is this pool called?
Monument Valley.
The Monument Valley Pool.
Yeah, it's
gone.
It's big. It's not afraid of people at all. Where we park our cars at my house, we don't have a garage. We just have like a lane over underneath a maple tree.
Okay.
And there's squirrels that hang out in the maple tree. Mm-hmm. And I have an anxiety that one of these days, for reasons unknown, I'm getting my daughter into her car seat. Squirrel come down, latches on her face.
Whoa.
I am so afraid that for some reason a squirrel is going to attack me or my daughter.
Squirrels are kind of brazen.
They're not.
They
They're
learn.
Not cowards. They're opportunistic.
Yeah, but like people feed them and like try to befriend them, so they see other people and they're like, "What do you got?
Yeah.
Give me that shit." So you're not totally unfounded in your fears. Just here encouraging your anxieties. You should get a gun.
It's actually really. If the squirrel gets on your daughter, shoot first, ask questions later.
Give her a gun.
I'm very happy we talked about TGI Fridays.
Got to talk about TGI Fridays. I have a line in. There's a movie on Amazon Prime called Collide with Jim Gaffigan. I'm in that. I have a line in Angie Tribeca Season 4, episode 1, I think.
Okay.
I say package here for special unit. I think that was it.
Okay. Are you like
Still
a
got it.
striptease guy and you're
No.
like special
I'm
delivery and
pointing
then
to
you
pointing to my package. No,
Yeah.
it's like it's a human body in like one
Okay.
of those
More
dollies.
somber.
Yeah.
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 Are you a potato in that?
No. Well, I mean, I'm always kind of a
All right.
potato.
It's canonically
Genetically. Yeah.
always kind of a potato.
Yeah.
What is the thing you know the most about? If someone was like gun to your head, you got to talk for 2.5 hours about a topic. You have to give a TED talk
Jeez.
right now. What's the thing you can talk the most about impromptu?
I think if there was a gun to my head and I just needed to fill the time,
Yeah.
I could talk about the digital art program Procreate.
That's great.
Because there's a few things. Here's
Yeah.
the thing. There are a few niche things.
Yeah.
Like Procreate, I work with all the time. If I were to teach a class, I think I could teach a class on
Yeah.
Procreate. Like, this is how digital art works. This is what these brushes do. This is how you do this and this and that, and it works
Buy
differently.
illustrations from Jordan.
Yes, please. But then there's like I said, cryptids. I could talk
Sure.
about cryptids for hours on end. You know, it's a silly, weird thing. I was always obsessed with like monsters and things when I was a kid. And it's like, yeah, it's stupid, but it's also hilarious and great.
Yeah.
And like ghost stories and folklore in general
Uh-huh.
is something that I go really deep on. And then like probably video games.
Yeah.
If somebody was like the same kind of video game person that I am, I could talk about like any given. There was a video game called EverQuest in the
Of course.
90s that I played the shit out of, and I just got back into playing it on an emulation server.
Uh-huh.
And I was playing it for about 3 months, and I was like, oh yeah, this was a lot of fun. And then I was like, oh, that's why I stopped doing this, because this shit sucks and it eats your life, and this is for nerds.
This is actually lame and for nerds.
Yeah, this
and
is
even
lame
though
and
I
for
just
nerds.
put 120 hours in it, actually it is lame.
That's how I do it, though. I hyper focus on stuff, and then
Yes.
I'll pick things up and just put them down, and it's a constant struggle to finish things.
Yeah.
For me.
I have a constant just like rotating list of these 5 video games that I play through, and then once I make it through all of them, I just start again
What
and
are the
play through
games?
all of them again. Recently added Baldur's Gate
Love
to the
Baldur's Gate. 3?
rotation, of course. But it's been Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas,
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic,
Great games.
1 and 2,
Incredible games.
Mass Effect,
Never played it.
and then all of the Dragon Age games.
Never played them. No,
Really?
I played Inquisition.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to play the new one that comes out.
New one coming out.
Yeah. Veilguard.
Origins, the first Dragon Age game.
Yeah.
One of my I my favorite video game of all time is probably like
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2.
Sure.
And Dragon Age Origins is one of the very few games that like filled that void in my life.
Yeah, sure.
Very fun, especially when you do all the fun mods.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, make girls kiss each other mod. That's always a good one.
I don't know if that's a mod. That might just be a different game.
But yeah, so all the 3 Dragon Age games,
Yeah.
the 3 Mass Effect games, Knights of the Old Republic, Fallouts, and then Baldur's Gate, and then back through the loop.
Yeah.
I need a single player action RPG.
Yeah, sure.
God of War every once in a
Have
while.
you
The
ever
new God of
played
War games.
any of the Divinity Original Sin games?
No,
They're made by the same people who
Mike
made
Hammock
Baldur's
told
Gate
me
3,
I need to get into those.
and they're very good. I think you would enjoy them.
Yeah.
I am a real voracious kind of consumer of, like, I thought that was the squirrel falling.
It was so loud. I
like,
think it's just a pickleball.
"No!"
Pickleball's popping off now.
If there's a hot new game coming out, I'm on top of it.
Yeah.
I'll pick up the new stuff.
I got Space Marines 2
I'm playing
today.
Space Marines as well.
We should wrap this up so we
It's
can go play Space
fucking
Marines.
Sweet.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun. It's not incredibly deep, but they did such a good job of like making it Warhammer. And
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge Warhammer guy, but when I play it, I'm like, oh, I get this.
Yeah.
I get all of this.
Warhammer has always been, it's another thing that during COVID, for whatever reason, I like to go, like you said, hyper focus and just learn a lot about a niche thing for whatever reason.
Yeah. If I
what were we going to say?
Please. If I can't sleep, I find myself going into like lore from things that seem very popular. Like I've never played like Warhammer with the miniatures and stuff. Or never painted them or anything. But I know a lot about the goblins from them and like orcs and how they're a fungus. And
when during COVID, at some point I watched a 4-hour-long video essay about the different chaos gods of Warhammer.
I might have watched that video
and just dove in. And then I'm like, okay, I've never played tabletop Warhammer. But I know if I did, I would probably play the orcs because I like the risk to reward ratio. I was like, I've never played it. I probably never will play it. But I just like to know if I ever did, I know where all my allegiances lie.
I remember looking at like Warhammer 40K lore late at night and finding out that the god of anger, the chaos god of anger, is called Angro, and laughing so hard that I woke my girlfriend up. And she was like, what? And I was like, I can never tell you because then you'll know what nerdy shit I'm up to late at night.
What's the god of like seduction and you mean Horno?
Oh, Sexo? Yeah. Sexo the fuck lord?
Pumpo Dumpo? Yeah.
Pumpo and Dumpo, the twin gods of perviness.
Slurpus. Yeah, the god Slurpus.
Yeah, sure.
Angro.
Fight Fist. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
that game's good though. I want to play that Wukong as well. I'm a real sucker for like FromSoft games.
I'm really bad.
So
I
too was like you, Fred.
Oh.
And I
you're my after picture.
I tried. Yeah.
You're who I can
this
become.
Is where you're heading, kid.
Potato
I'm
man.
missing a tooth. I started with Bloodborne because everybody loved Dark Souls, and I was like, okay, let's get on this Bloodborne, see if I can get on the FromSoft train. Beat my ass for like 5 years. I would keep coming back and being like, what do people love about this? I'd see people being like, God, I love this game. Oh, I love it so much.
I see Elder Scrolls. People are like, I put 600 hours into it. I'm like, it looks like it would make me break a controller in half immediately.
Fun. I like it. Skyrim rocks. But I finally beat Bloodborne. Like when COVID started, I was like, I'm gonna beat Bloodborne finally.
Did I say Elder Scrolls or Elden Ring?
Elden Ring. You said Elder Scrolls.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Elden Ring is difficult.
That sucks. Everyone's gonna make fun of me and bully me now.
Drag him. I finally beat it, and it's weird because it doesn't like the game doesn't get different or better. But you change, if that makes sense. Yeah, you go in.
You come out of it different?
And you come out different. Because, like, you go in and you're...
these hands have seen.
You're afraid of all of the monsters. You're like, what the fuck is that? I can't fight that. You run away, and eventually, bit by fucking hard-earned skill point, you become the scarier thing on the map. And now I found a different knife, and it does a different move that can fucking allow me to really exploit this weakness. And all of a sudden, by the end of it, once you kind of understand how hard it wants you to work for everything, for every fucking inch, you're like, now you're locked in here with me.
I do like the games where, like, it after you've done your 3/4 of the way through, it puts you back. For whatever reason, like, some roundabout route you got to go back through where you first started.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
Yeah, and then it's like the first boss you ever fought. You can just steamroll it. Oh. That is, and I imagine that's the big appeal.
Remember me, Eddie! Yeah. And I killed your brother! Do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course. Roger Rabbit?
This is like the third time this has come up in 2 days. And I talk like this!
Did you watch it recently, or it's just always on your mind?
We were at... for the Comedy Fort last night, and we were talking about shit that scared us when we were kids, stuff in movies, and who was there? Raven. Her last name is Raven.
Haley?
Haley Raven.
She's great. I love Haley.
Yeah, very funny. Crushed. She brought up that guy from Roger Rabbit. I was like, oh fuck yeah, he was a big one. The other one for me was in Howard the Duck.
Okay.
The guy who plays the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off and the dad in Beetlejuice, plays a scientist who gets inhabited by kind of a 40K chaos demon from space. And he's slowly turning into this monstrosity, and as calcified horns protrude from his skin.
This isn't Howard the Duck?
Howard the Duck. And when I was a kid, it was such a weird conflict because I desperately wanted to know what Howard the Duck was up to.
Yeah.
But this lasagna was laced with poison, and it was this horrifying monster.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was crazy. That was one of my big ones.
I think mine was just Signs.
Just Signs.
The movie Signs with
When
Mel
that
Gibson.
alien walks out,
It was
it's
just
scary.
It was a very Christian Catholic
Yeah.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of aliens are real, and
Yeah.
at the time when I saw it, I didn't really understand the message of the movie
Yeah.
or anything, and I was like, oh, God sends aliens to punish you because this guy gave up on his dreams of baseball.
Yeah.
And so you have to follow your dreams or God killed. I really
that's the
didn't
point
get-
of the movie.
Yeah. That's it.
You got it.
But I can't think of, I watched.
There wasn't any one thing in a horror movie that really stuck in your craw.
I watched Jeepers Creepers
Jeepers Creepers was a scary motherfucker.
as a young man. That was a freaky one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies that I've only seen on TV.
Sure.
Jeepers Creepers being one of them. I remember watching Van Wilder.
Did you for many years think that Jeepers Creepers was like the TV ready version of the name?
Yes.
And it was in movie theaters, it was Jesus Christ. No, it's going to be on TBS.
We got to call it
we gotta
Jeepers
call it
Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah. Van Wilder was one where I saw it on Comedy Central a lot as a young kid, and I'm like, this movie rocks.
Yeah.
And then I rented it from Blockbuster one time. And I was like, oh, this is a very different movie
You're like, oh,
than
man.
the hour cut on Comedy
They
Central.
feed those guys eclairs with dog jizz in them.
I was going to say, there's dog ejaculate in that
There
movie.
are
That's not in.
Adult themes.
They don't put that on
Yeah.
on TV.
Yeah.
So there's been a couple of those that got me.
Yeah. Boy, a couple of times, because we would go to the video store. This was in the days before streaming. We would go and find a tablet etched with a story. And grandfather would read it. No, we would go to the video store and pick out movies. The kids got to pick one when I was
Hollywood
really young.
Video or a Blockbuster?
This was a local place called
Oh.
Pick-a-Flick.
Okay.
A mom and pop in Eagle, Colorado. But we would go and we'd get to pick one out. And there were a few times that I picked something that I was like, this will be cool. And then it was just full of boobs. And then I was watching it with my parents and it was like, this is humiliating. I swear I didn't pick it for this. I just thought Starship Troopers sounded fun.
That happened to me with Undercover Brother.
Okay,
Starring Eddie Griffith.
Sure.
I just, for whatever reason, as a young kid, my parents were strict about some things, but very we couldn't At some point, we had to throw away all of our Pokemon cards because I thought they were demonic kind of thing. But also, we were watching Tombstone as 4-year-olds. It's movies they didn't get. So it was a weird trying to figure out what their boundaries were.
The more you kind of grow away from your childhood and see it as an adult who sees how crazy other adults are, you're like, oh, my parents were just being dumb idiots.
Yeah.
And they were also being affected by the fucking news of the time. It was Pokemon as demons.
Yeah.
Simpsons teach your kids to be little Bart Simpsons.
Right.
And a lot of that stuff. Our parents at one point, mainly my stepfather at the time, was we're not watching The Simpsons anymore. And we were like, yeah, right, dude.
Prove it.
We kept watching them, and it was fine. But it was definitely because at that time, George Bush, the first one, was running on we need more Beaver Cleavers and less Bart Simpsons out here. This TV is teaching our kids to be, disrespectful. That's why they did that episode where Bart and George Bush become enemies. It's very funny.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's like Looney Tunes and Hitler. That's their propaganda episode.
Yeah, exactly.
It's as I'm 30 and we have a daughter, I'm realizing, I'm kind of just figuring this out.
Yeah.
You kind of take everything case by case.
Truly.
And then realizing, my parents also at this age knew just as much as
Yeah.
I. In fact, with technology, I probably know more than my parents did at this age.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just taking everything
Well, at
case
least
by
more
case.
of the stuff that's happening now.
Yeah.
And everybody's just figuring out, and you're going to blow it. And
Yeah.
they blew it sometimes. And
For sure.
there's got to be a way around it where it's like some kind of school of parenting where it's like the you're going to blow it school of parenting.
Yeah,
where it's like, just try to be cool and normal.
As a weird aside gig that I do sometimes is I get contracted. The sun is right in my eyes, so we should probably wrap up soon. Oh, you're going to do that. Thank you very much.
Huh?
Side contract gig that I have from time to time is I will go be a podcast guest on a local podcast from a nonprofit that, like, how do you talk to your kids about what's happening in pop culture?
Oh, interesting.
Like the latest goings on. So even if that's fentanyl in your cocaine, or if it's the new Minecraft movie, is it liberal or not?
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, I go on there
is
and like
it liberal or not?
try and talk to parents about like, hey, let's be reasonable about some of these. Like, yes, set boundaries, but also like, don't be a freak and a weirdo.
Don't be a freak about it. Yeah.
And that's one thing that like I recommend to people is you're going to blow it.
Yeah.
You're either going to be too strict, and then you're going to be too strict about something, and then your kid they're going to rebel against you.
Yeah.
No smoking cigarettes, which is a good boundary, but just as an example.
And your kid will become a tobacco farmer.
They're going to rebel against you. They're going to sneak out of the house. They're going to go smoke cigarettes, or like no kissing girls, whatever it is.
They're going to kiss so many girls.
Smooching.
They'll kiss a hole right through someone's head.
It's going to taste just like this LaCroix.
Yeah.
But like you're either going to be too strict, and in an act of rebellion, they're going to go out of their way to do that behind your back because you're too strict. Or you're going to be too lenient.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go get drunk, smoke cigarettes because you were too lenient about it and you should have been more strict. No matter what, you're going to fall on one side of the fence in different ways on different issues.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like darts, or eventually you're going to get closer to the bullseye maybe, but just you're going to blow it one way or the other forever, and you just have to be comfortable with one of those.
Right.
I would rather be a little bit more lenient with my kids and then they screw up, rather than be too strict and in an act of rebellion they do. Either way, you're going to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be the way that you don't hate me and we have a relationship. You don't shave your head, you know.
And hopefully they'll smoke a cigarette and be like, this is bad and it's not for me. But everybody knows cigarettes rock.
They're actually cool as hell.
They're cool and they make you cool.
That's an official endorsement.
I'm making my own brand of cigarettes.
Oh, yeah?
I'm actually a tobacco farmer.
Lance Hollywood
I'm trying
brand
to get started.
cigarettes.
Yeah, a little mom and pop tobacco.
Okay, we do need to wrap up, but I loved, for a long time, I would just watch Reddit r/artisanal videos.
Sure.
And man, watching a man hand cut and hand roll a cigar,
dude,
with
it's engaging as
fuck. It
fuck.
looks so relaxing,
and especially
really
when
nice.
it's people who have done it like 10,000 hours.
Yeah, his hands are
and it's
stained
just like,
from the tobacco leaves.
And he does it almost automatically. And you're just like, this is incredible. I love this
Someone
shit.
being an expert at something because I have no tangible skills in my life.
There's a great show. It was on PBS in like the 50s or something, and it's called Alone in the Wilderness with Dick Proenneke.
Okay.
And Dick Proenneke took like one of the first, so it must have been the 60s or something, one of the first like portable camcorders basically up to this lake called Crystal Lake in Alaska, and he just built a house and lived there and like survived there through the winters by himself for many years, and he recorded the whole thing, and it's all, he used to be an army engineer, and it's all him like creating things from hand in a very precise and efficient way, and it's so relaxing. It's incredible.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
It's really good. And he's like talking the whole time. He's like, I knew there would be a meteor shower, so I fashioned a crude telescope out of ice and banana leaves.
Whoa.
You're like, where did you get banana leaves? Shut up.
In this environment.
It's the 60s.
He's
Alaska
the original Bear
was once
Grylls where they're flying him shit
island.
in. Yeah. He's faking it the whole time.
Making the whole thing up. He's on a soundstage in Hollywood.
We should wrap it up.
Yes.
Do you want to plug Twitch, Better Than Heroes, all kinds of cool stuff.
Follow me. I'm Razor Lou across most things. Instagram,
Where'd that name
TikTok
come from?
a little bit. Razor Lou.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy were coming up with we were driving through Wyoming, and we were really, really, really bored, and we were talking about what our trucker names would be on the CB.
Okay, very
I was like,
cool.
Razor Lou coming through. I think that would be fun.
So Razor Lou.
Yeah, that's me. Follow that. I have a podcast called Werewolf Radar. We talk about ghosts and stuff in a very silly, fun way. And yeah, just check out my shit.
He's got a lot of cool stuff.
Check out my shit. It's cool.
Go look at his stuff.
Look at my shit.
Look at his shit.
Please.
We'll just freeze frame it right there. Jordan, thank you very much.
I need someone to look at my shit. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm
By
glad we could
illustrations.
work it out.